So if you really want to succeed on YouTube, you think that, hey, all I need to do is get that shout out from the biggest creator on the planet, like a MrBeast, and everything's gonna be okay. Well, in this live stream, we're gonna have a conversation with a very successful YouTuber that got that shout out and then realized, you know what? It's not all what it's cracked up to be. So if you want to really succeed on YouTube, if you really want to grow on YouTube, you've come to the right place. We're gonna actually have a discussion of how to do that today in 2022, and also understanding the dynamics that actually happen on the platform. So normally we do these on Saturday, but we want to kind of enjoy the weekend. And so we're doing it on a Friday. We know that there's a lot of value here for you. So to start this out, go ahead in the comments, tell us what you do and where you're from on YouTube specifically, and we're gonna jump right in. Now, before we get into the discussion and interview, I wanna talk about my passion, and I wanna talk about what I truly do believe, and the reason why I'm taking time out of my busy day, jumping live on with you and teaching you, and bringing other successful people on the platform is because I believe we're in a beautiful part of the world that we're able to really impact the world in a very positive way. And I think there's a lot of negativity out there. I think there's a lot of things that polarize us. But my passion is to facilitate content creators that bring light into the world, the people that actually bring positivity into their content, because I think that's what the world needs. And we need more people stepping up and willing to create these communities that uplift the world and not rip it apart. So that's kind of what I'm all about. And I've spent a lot of time, energy, and effort really developing a system to help the people that I love go and achieve. And I've been able to have a lot of success on YouTube in the process. I've actually crossed 87 billion video views this last week. And I couldn't be more excited because I know those views are very systematic, and it's gathering an audience, it's doing what it needs to do, but also it's not necessarily luck. It's part of what I talk about as the YouTube formula. It's a formula to succeed, and there's certain things that we can do to guarantee success. Now, of the 87 billion video views that I generated, I can honestly say that 1 billion of those was just dumb luck. And so there's luck involved, but 86 billion non-luck, but is more strategic, is what we're able to do. So at the end of the day, if you think that YouTube's a lottery or it's luck, I want to get that pushed out of your mind and realize it's all about developing you as a content creator, making a sustainable business around you as a content creator, and then really leveling up what you believe that you need to connect. So this interview with someone that I love and trust is going to be great because he was able to learn the hard way some of the things that we're gonna talk about. And so hopefully through this live stream that you're able to really know the things that you're doing right now. Maybe you need to pivot a little bit to see that success. So I am joined by my friend Zealous, and here we go. Zealous, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? Doing absolutely fantastic. By the way, dude, 1 billion views out of 87 billion views is 1.14%. I just want to give you that.
Okay, I'm glad that you have the statistical measures of that from the.
I got you.
It's good, but no, the cool thing about that though is, and you know this because we've talked a lot, but there is strategy around YouTube, and there is content, and there is a little bit of luck too. I'm not gonna deny that, but we can have predictable success, and that's what I teach and preach. But 100%. For all the people that don't know who you are and they see you here on the live stream, can you want to give us kind of a little bio breakdown of who you are, how you got started on YouTube, and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I go by the name Zealous. My real name is Matthew Doyon. I was born in Ohio and started making videos as a little kid, but ended up kind of growing a YouTube channel up to around 50,000 subscribers by the age of 20. And it was at that point that I essentially got a shout out from MrBeast, and the channel grew from 50,000 subscribers to 1.8 million subscribers in the span of 7 hours. And it was the most overwhelming, amazing thing that has ever happened to me thus far. And I'm excited what that opportunity brings, in other opportunities in the future. And one of them is talking with Daryl. So,
Yeah, well, let's kind of dive into that because I believe that when we start YouTube, we have really big ideas and goals. And when you started YouTube, was there like was there like a creator that you're like, hey, I want to be like them, and you're trying to mimic them, and how are you going? Because I know that you're a lot younger than the appropriate age. I hope your parents knew that you're doing. I think were you like 11 or something like that? I can't remember.
Oh, so you're talking about like way back then. So I was
Mhm.
7 years old when I started making like Lego stop motion videos and posting them on YouTube. Um, and the people who inspired me were like people like Smosh and Ryan Higa, but specifically because of Lego stop motion, it was like Keshin 8. Then as
Yes.
like I got a little bit more involved in like the IRL stuff, like people were making real life first person video games and stuff like that. I went ahead and started getting inspired by like Freddie Wong, Corridor Digital, and stuff like that.
Okay,
And
Freddie by far, like if there's ever a person that I really thought pushed the needle, it was Freddie. And in fact, I hired his editor. He works for me now. He's been
are you
working for me
serious?
for a year. Yeah, like one of his editors that did Video Game High School,
Oh, no way.
and some other stuff that worked with him on some other things. But yeah, he's one of the most amazing editors I've ever come across. But let's kind of dig deep into it. So the journey of YouTube. What was like getting to the 50,000 mark? I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, what do you need to do to get it to that first 4,000 hours watched so they can get monetized?
Mhm.
What was that like just starting YouTube and getting to that point where you got to 50,000 subscribers?
It was really slow. So I kind of took a bit of a break. I uploaded intermittently between the ages of like 13. I'd already made like 100 videos when I was 13, but I ended up deleting all of them when I was 17. And I ended up getting to the getting the YouTube partnership when I went through that second round of making videos. I was making daily vlogs, so a lot of it was just like consistency. But that was over the course of like a very long time. I wouldn't say it was super ideal because I was throwing just spaghetti at the wall. Like, oh, let's your favorite metaphor.
Oh yeah.
um, I was like, towing a sled behind a truck and filming it with my friends and just like, not really putting too much thought into it. But when the channel really started to gain some traction, it was because I was looking at other creators like Preston and MrBeast, and I was pretty much scouring their channels, looking at like their most viewed or videos that had like a lot of momentum or like high view counts in a short amount of time. And I would take those ideas and make them my own. So I think my first ever video that started to do like really well or a bit better than the others was a video that I made. It was testing out TikTok survival hacks. So I lived in the woods. I live in a little bit more in the city now, but at the time I lived in the woods. So I was like, you know what? We're just gonna find some survival hacks on TikTok and test them out and see if they work. And I think the reason why this started to work is because I unintentionally was replicating best practices when it comes to like retention, payoff, having like a goal at the beginning of the video. Just keeping the video fast paced because you have like all these different bits going on. You kind of have to if you're gonna have like a video that's not too long. So it just ended up working that way, but it came from copying the other creators. From
Okay,
that,
let's talk about that real quick
yeah.
because I think that there's a couple things I want to go a little bit deeper on because you did another thing that we haven't mentioned yet, but it was a great segue for that. But really, when you're a content creator, I want to create. I'm going to go do whatever I want to do, and there's no content strategy. There's no best practices of a video, and you might get a few views here or there. You might get a few subscribers here or there, but you didn't really have a loyal audience, and that loyal audience, they didn't know what they're going to get. You had random audience views that come in. And I can honestly say for everyone that's on the call, the thing that I'm the most concerned with, I don't care about subscribers, believe it or not, but I care about when people watch the video, what they do next in the sense of watch more of the videos, like binge watch the content. But the second thing would be when I post a video, I want them to want to click on it. So we take them from a viewer to an active viewer to an active loyal viewer, like the person that like so obsessed that they can't miss anything that's going on. And so that's kind of the level that I focus in on. And so you were learning, oh, I'm going to like look at these creators out here. I'm going to be inspired by them. oh, why do they do this? And you're starting to learn best practices, but you're not really saying, oh, these are best practices. You're just like, oh, I like the way they did that. And you're like incorporating, into your content. You did one other thing that I think is outright critical if you want to jump ahead of your learning cycle, which was there was creators in your town or close to your town that were actually succeeding on YouTube. And do you want to talk about that? Because I think that right there helped give you a little bit of clarity of some importance, and then it hindered you on some other things. But I'd love to talk about that.
100%. Yes. So I was blessed to just happen to go to actually the same church as these YouTube creators that I know in town. Their name is more J Stu. I think they just go by J Stu now. But for a little while, I actually worked with them. I worked with them as like an editor. So I edited some of their main channel videos and such. But when I kind of broke off and started doing my own channel, it was super helpful because not only did I have the opportunity to make a video or two with them, I had the opportunity to be in their videos as well and just see like what their processes were and what they focused on. So
can we talk about that? Because I think that I think a lot of people are like, I want to succeed. I'm going to do it on my own. But what you were able to do is go edit for a creator. They were already successful. And so they were literally saying, oh, edit it this way or whatever. And you're like, well, why do I do it? Need to do that way. Well, when you're in that state, it's more, oh, okay, there's a reason and a method for, getting this stuff done. And so as you're listening, you're actually learning some of the best practices that they feel that is important for their channel.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was exactly like that. Because of them, I started to look at, three main metrics: CTR, AVD, and AVP. So how often are people clicking the video and how long are they watching the video? Pretty much. They were really focused in on that, and it just rubbed off on me. And I was like, oh, I made this video and it has over 52% retention. I've never had all mine are normally around 40. So it's like, okay, obviously I'm doing something right, and I could use those markers to measure improvement. Obviously, improvement doesn't happen if you can't measure it. So
yeah, I want to dig deeper into that, but I think we need to kind of put a bed into this question, which would be: there's a lot of people that are just starting right now that are watching this video. They're engaging on the live stream. What advice do you have for them starting out, based on what you just explained, your experience, and what would you change a little bit on your journey if you had the opportunity to know what you know now, what you would actually do differently?
Yeah, so I would, if I were in your shoes and you're just starting, obviously I think first of all, you just want to find something that you're like even just remotely interested in. For instance, like maybe it's Star Wars. Then from there, I would go look at like what other Star Wars creators are doing. And if you even have the opportunity to get in contact with them, I would do that. The closer in proximity that you can get to people who are doing things like correctly and who are growing at a fast rate, the more that's going to rub off on you. And another really great way to do that is to book, a consulting, an hour of consulting with like someone like Daryl or like Patty Galloway. There was a season really recently where I very much wanted to improve. So I just, went all over Twitter. Twitter is an amazing place to find people who are really specific, who can teach you. So I'd say it's two things specifically. It's obviously trying to learn as much as possible about this certain niche that you want to make content in, and you should choose a niche. That's the one thing that I did. I kind of have been even still narrowing down on it. My channel would probably be growing quite a bit faster if I did narrow down sooner. So I'd encourage you to do that. But once you found a niche, try it for like, a good amount of time. Like, what would you say, Daryl? Like, how long should they try the niche if they feel unpassionate about it? Like, when should they pivot?
Well, I think the big thing is, in the YouTube formula, I talk about buckets, and there's the niche of the channel, and then there's topics that are related to the niche, and it's all related there. I think it's like you can experiment and try 3 or 4 videos, and just see, does it do what we need it to do? But you need it to look past the view count. You need to see, is it really engaging the people that you're trying to engage? Are they staying on longer? There's other metrics that we actually go deeper in. But I think starting out, it's just really focus in on what you are and what you're not, and then make the best content for what you are, and then two, look at a way to bring in to widen it out a little bit, broaden it out a little bit, so you're not too niched in that you can't get the views, but you can get enough views and general interest, and you're able to go from there. But well, let's talk about another tip that you said. I want everyone to realize, if you ever want to get a hold of people and get visibility really easy, it's not necessarily sending an email. I think I got 10,000 emails I need to go through after this live stream or whatever. It's not an email, and it's definitely people's cell phone numbers aren't out there, so a text message isn't necessarily feasible. But Twitter is, and you went on Twitter and you said, "Oh, I can connect," and you were following your favorite creators and you're trying to see what they're doing. And there was a time that one of your favorite creators, MrBeast, put out a tweet, says, "Hey, I'm looking to really help a small creator, and I want them in a video." You saw that tweet, and what did you do? Like, what did you do? Like, cause like,
yes. So, this is where, like, I feel like preparation meets opportunity. First of all, like, I was making videos. I'd found my like a little bit more of where I wanted to be in my groove. So I had something to, like, show for my work. I think that's, like, super key, because you want to make sure that for any opportunity that you are like prepared ahead of time. So that was, like, key number one. But just being, like, on Twitter and scrolling through the feed, I actually think my friend Andrew from MrBeast sent it to me. So that's even a key, to have, like, close friends in the YouTube community. But pretty much I saw this tweet. It said, "We're looking for 4 other small creators under 100,000 subscribers to compete in an upcoming video. Here's a Google form to fill out." So I clicked on the Google form. I put all my stuff in, and thankfully I'd been making content like in a fairly intentional way. I found a few buckets that worked, like the TikTok life hacks. I found, my brother controls my life for 24 hours, or MrBeast controls my life for 24 hours. So I had, like, a fairly good backlog of content that proved, like, hey, this person could be a good potential candidate for this video. And then I put in the form and waited. And
when let me because I was on the opposite side of the form. So at that time, I was living next door to MrBeast and helping him, with his business and YouTube channel and so on and so forth. And like I knew that process was going, because the idea that was generated, and like, hey, this would be a great way to showcase YouTube, and it would be great content. What he was looking for specifically was people that can bring in content, like just to have you submit a form. I mean, there's 10,000 people that did. They were looking for somebody who was well composed, that knows what content is, like, can create content, because we're trying to create a video of moments, and if you don't have those moments, then you have a video that's never going to see the light of day. And so as they went through, he had his team kind of narrow it down, and we get to the final list. And I remember this conversation. I remember it was like a late night, early morning meeting where we just sitting around talking YouTube stuff. And he goes, "Oh, we got the contestants for who we're gonna fly in. There's 6 of them, but here's our main 4 we want to do, and because we wanted to have some backups, and he goes, "You're gonna probably like one of these guys really well." And this is Jimmy telling me that. I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And so anyways, I went on. I'm like, "This Zealous guy." I go, this is the guy. This is the guy. We want this guy. He's funny. He's engaging and whatever. And the video that I saw is you shaved your head. Like, you literally were bald. Like, you had this beautiful locks of hair, and then you literally shaved it. You're like bald. You looked like most awkward, because I think Stu was controlling your life, and they said shave your head for whatever. Right. And I was like, this guy, if he's willing to shave his beautiful hair and totally go off the market for any of the females that are out there, then we need him. And sure enough, you came and you were a part of it. And I want to basically show everyone here, like you wore a hat backwards, and you wore a hat, but you're as bald right there.
You know what I did? It was like patchy. So before I left, I was like, I ain't going in. I'm gonna have to go full bald or nothing. So I just I cleaned it up too. Like, that's as short as it could have possibly been. and it was the worst timing on the entire planet to be bald. Let me tell you.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about that? So getting selected going in, because I think your mind now went into a competition mode because you weren't guaranteed. You were guaranteed to be in a YouTube video, but not guaranteed to get the shout out. Do you want to kind of talk about that real quick?
I've never been in a more competitive zone in my entire life, which like, you know, I'm actually in the process of getting back into that zone, which I'm really excited for. But this is why I think it's always like so important to take time out of your day to learn. Just as a preface, like it's been so busy that I've constantly just been working and I haven't had like a lot of time to really like zone in on how I'm improving, how I'm growing. The work helps me learn, but I think intentional time to learn and grow is super key. And it's the only thing that allowed me to actually like have a chance in this competition. I would say, are you talking about like the actual like competitive experience and how I prepared for it, Daryl?
Well, I can only imagine that you have the biggest YouTuber that you like look up to, call you up, say, hey dude, we're having you do it. You know, you make a video talking about you're gonna be in this competition. You don't release it yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you go there in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, and you have you know, this opportunity, and you literally just go in and start competing. I mean, you literally just fly in, you whatever, and there's other YouTubers there. And it was all about a competition. So it was like the last to leave, whatever, wins 1 million subscribers. And I'm not as worried about I'm not as worried about the video itself, because I think the video itself is what it is, and you know, you're creating content. But I know in the back of your mind, you're like, all I need is this. I need a shout out. Mm-hmm. You have 50,000 subscribers, and you're gonna get some subscribers just based on the video, right? But you're like, this is my shot. This is my shot to take it from there. And so when you won, how did that feel? And then two, what were you thinking your life would be like now that you're going to have a shout out from MrBeast?
I would say that I was like, even though I was making content, I was massively underprepared. And I don't know, even know if I had a vision for what it would look like in the future, which was interesting to navigate afterwards. Actually, I had a vision board, like I made it just so I could like constantly have that reminder in front of me before the video.
I literally forgot about this. Yeah, so this is really good. This is really good, guys.
It's very interesting. So like I had this board, and I wish I still had it. I could show you guys right now, but I'll explain it. I had this board, and I had pretty much in the middle, I had me holding a 1 million subscriber plaque. And then to my right, I had Jimmy, and to my left, I actually had Daryl. I hadn't met either of them yet. I know, it's really interesting. And then I had like 1 million subscribers. And I made that like probably about 6 months before this all happened. And then it's like, oh, well, what do you do when like all of that happens in 8 hours? Like, you know, after a shout out. So I'd say that I was pretty massively underprepared, especially for like on the content strategy side of things, right. Because like you're making 50,000 subscriber level content. And obviously, like when you're at that level, you're kind of reinvesting the money that you do make to just inch the needle forward. And now you have like this, like obviously revenue went up exponentially. And it's like, okay, so I have this cash now. How am I going to reinvest it to make sure that I'm making million subscriber content?
Well, I'd like to unpack that a little bit, because I think there's a lot of things that happen in that amount of time. Was you said I was a 50,000 subscriber channel making 50,000 subscriber content. So you realize that for sure. And I knew that before you flew out, I invited you over to the house that I just down the road from Jimmy, like next door to Jimmy. And we had a conversation, and I says, okay, just because you're getting the push doesn't mean that you're going to get the loyalty factor. And I says, the loyalty factor is by far one of the most important things to do. And we talked a little bit more in depth, and then two, I offered you to really just get into Channel Jumpstart and, you know, kind of see some patterns. And, you know, there's a period of time that was there, but I don't want to get into that specifically, but I want to go over, I think everyone's dream is to get that collab, that shout out, that whatever. And I want to show that specifically. So you had it, you got it, right now it has 45 million video views. So you're still getting people from it, right?
Yeah.
And then you release a video on I want 100,000 subscribers for MrBeast, and you released a video prior to that that says, "Hey, MrBeast asked me to be in a competition," which is smart, and you showed the FaceTime or whatever, and you're just like freaking out.
Mhm.
And September 5th is when you and he both launched your videos. And what was beautiful from that is, and I love watching, it was like really, really entertaining. And then it was really interesting watching the counter go up of your subscribers. And so for everyone that wants to see that, this is what your channel looked like before that shout out, right? And then you can see the growth that came in. And what was
Crazy.
beautiful was getting 1.8 million people in, what was it, 48 hours or 24 hours. It was crazy to subscribe, right? Because that's like, hey, go subscribe to him, MrBeast telling you. And you had this massive, massive, massive growth. And what did it feel like? You went from 50,000 subscribers that you got your silver play button like in 2 seconds, and you got your
literally.
gold play button in like maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, what was it like? It was insane. I actually had to step away from my phone. I was like, okay, this is happening. I can either just watch this all day, or I can just go like clear my mind and just get away from it. And that's what I chose to do, because I knew the months coming up would be very challenging and rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I know very specifically on the content. You had all these new viewers going in. You had new viewers coming in, and they were used to certain type of content, MrBeast content. So you had MrBeast audience that came in, huge influx that went from there. What was your content strategy? Because like if we go back one slide, you can see your number 2 video that you released, MrBeast controls my life for 24 hours straight, right? And it did receive subscribers, or I'm sorry, views and subscribers, but it was not even remotely close to what that previous video did, right? Like you didn't get the views, you didn't get the visibility, but you got an increase of interest because it was something that you were doing on your channel before, controlling my life for 24 hours, and you had MrBeast do it, and then it just like using his face in your thumbnail, you had a pretty interesting idea. But what was the challenges of taking an audience that's actively loyal to MrBeast, so loyal that they came and watched the video and subscribed to you because he told them to do that? And what was the challenges moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm scrolling back in my channel right now just to kind of give a reference, because it's all a crazy blur. I think obviously that video, the MrBeast controls my life for 24 hours straight. I don't know if anyone in the comments or who's watching right now has read the YouTube formula, but I feel like that's a good example of like taking your interests and then pop culture, because I'd say MrBeast is almost like a household name at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And kind of merging them and having like that crossover in the middle, because that's how you reach a broader audience, and that's how you kind of, the best way to do like these one-to-one type collabs. From there it went a little bit like downhill, I'd say, just because I was figuring out, we uploaded a video that like some videos that still got views. The video right after that, MrBeast controls my life for 24 hours straight, is like, in my opinion, the worst video I've ever made. It was, I made the world's biggest cup of ramen. So much potential, but I just executed so poorly upon it. And then we had from there about 5 videos that we were just kind of trying to find, like, I was trying to find, like, what worked. So the next few videos were like asking millionaires to play hide and seek in their mansions. Best friends only say yes for 24 hours straight. That one's even like more isolated because no one really knows my face or my friend's face. And somehow it still got some views. I think it's just because like over time, it has like 1 million views now. But they're all performing compared to, the first video of winning 1 million subscribers. And then the second video of MrBeast controls my life, even very poorly compared to that. Then we had a couple more videos, and then all of a sudden, it's really interesting. We had this moment where it's like it was halfway through the week and we wanted to upload on the following weekend. And we're like, all right, we need to film a video. What the heck do we make? So we were kind of acting on instinct in this moment, which I think really helped in a way to like the constraints that we'd put around ourselves helped us be more creative and act on intuition. of like, combining what works. Because I learned quite a bit from them about like how to hook an audience in the beginning and how to add a good payoff so that they stay to the end. And then from there, the instinct allows us to just make a video that we felt excited about. And that video was, I built an epic hidden gaming room in my house. And that video now has 16 million views, and the 2 videos before that each are under 1 million views. So it was, that's pretty much an aha moment, I would say, that we finally experienced after a few weeks of uploading.
No, and I love that, and I want to dig deep into what you just said, because I think there's a way to get the jam, and I know a lot of the blanks that you're filling, you got to get consultation with MrBeast. He was like taking an active interest in helping you. You were talking with me and my team. I know that I talked to you quite a bit, and Justin constantly. And then you went through Channel Jumpstart and really started, buckets, and I get it, and my passion, and there's certain things that were just kind of filling in the blanks. And for all those that are watching, I mean, basically, it happened in a short amount of period where he was able to start getting views consistently when it was more his passion. But what's interesting was you made a pretty huge mistake, and I want to talk about it because it's one of those things that you thought you needed to become, and you decided to spend $20,000 in a video because MrBeast spends millions of dollars in his video. I want to talk about this one because this is I think this is a learning point to amplify what we were telling you before. You got to do big videos, but you don't have to do it MrBeast style.
Right.
And now we have the perfect example of Ryan Trahan. It's like he does it like with minimal staff and on a penny, whatever.
So incredible.
Let's talk about this video because I think this one actually hits home where you tried a MrBeast type of style and putting the budget behind, and you had all these ideas. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. So this video is called "I Buried Myself with Hidden Treasure," and pretty much the premise is actually privated right now on the channel because it just looks better from an overview standpoint to not have a video with like a terrible amount of views. But pretty much what we did was we flew out to Florida and we buried me on an island in this little like kind of coffin type box. And my friends had to find me, and whoever found me like won $1,000. And it was really interesting, I think, because it took a huge jump from like our lower production videos and then trying to produce a very complicated, at least even like logistically, video when we were making stuff like our stunts in real life videos, we were making our hidden gaming room videos, we're making stuff that like only required me and my friend, and then we go and make a video that requires like 8 people and a bunch of things and travel. Yeah. So eventually what happened is I had this idea. I was like, this is going to be so cool. MrBeast just uploaded his Buried Alive video. I'm going to make something similar. We ended up, it just got more and more expensive as things kept going wrong. We ended up sinking around $20,000 into it. And then because I was so attached to the video, I think because I spent so much money, I was like, I have to make this a really, really good video. Yep. So it was
like that perpetual hole that just is like a money trap. It just like going more and more and more. And
it's like a bad car that like you just are restoring and it just things keep going wrong. You keep finding rust in different spots. And then there was something that I was listening to yesterday that I think really applies to this video. I was listening to this pastor talking. He's like, I can make a really good sermon. Like I can make a sermon that's like 90% as good as it could be in about 8 hours. I can make it 95% as good as it could be in 20 hours. And I can make it about 80% as good as it could be in 40 hours because you overcook it. So this video was the definition of like overcooking it. I kept looking at MrBeast videos. How does he do his hook? How does he talk? How does he, edit? And then I just took everything and like, I was like, if I just throw all this stuff into it, it's going to be a banger. And it ended up being like the worst performing video that we've made in a very, very long time.
Yeah. Now let's fast forward to this video, because that's the one that we were talking about earlier that you were saying, oh, I had an idea. We had minimal amount of time. You put some budget into it because you had to go and buy some stuff and you're redoing that. But this one has 15.2 million more than usual. So like you had your big MrBeast moment, but this one was just like, it continues to bring you traffic and fun. and it was the complete opposite of what you were trying to do. You like, and no offense, I mean, this is what you thought. I got to be like Mr. Beast. I got to do Mr. Beast level content. I got to do things that Mr. Beast's audience would love. And my contention is always, well, no, you got to do your stuff, but you got to bring Mr. Beast's audience with you to be loyal with you. And this is a moment where you're like, oh no, this is a banger idea. It's something we can execute very quickly. And you did, and now it becomes your biggest video. It became your biggest video at that point in moment. And then that's when everything started to improve on your channel, because you actually had an original idea for you. It brought out your original, personality. You did it your own way. You weren't trying to say, oh, we're buying all the things in Best Buy and making the most epic room. Well, no, you had a limited budget to get this, and here you did it. And then it was like, it was a video that just popped off. Do you want to talk about that just a little bit? Just because I think this is probably the most important thing that I want all the creators to really understand, was this moment when you had your aha and how it was a course correction.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting. Just in the inception of the idea, it was, like I said, about halfway through the week. We were running a little bit behind. I had a call with Justin, Daryl's chief of staff. He's your chief of staff, correct?
Yeah, he's actually the president of my company now, but yeah.
Oh, let's go. Heck yeah. So Justin is a total goat. Justin, if you're watching this, I love you. We were talking and he's like, okay, like hidden rooms. And we start looking at like hidden room thumbnails, and we're like doing this research. And I'm like, well, I love gaming. And I actually had this idea. There's like this space under my stairs that if we knock out the wall, we can make a hidden game room. He's like, all right, I think you should do that. And I'm like, sick. So we go ahead, we do that. And we're so in the moment that it's just like, I take a sledgehammer and I just like knock out the wall for the intro. I'm like, today we're building a hidden game room under my stairs. And then I just start knocking out the wall with a sledgehammer.
Okay, that's the best hook of all time, though. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. Boom. You're just ready to go. That's awesome. Just
get right into the action. But I think the difference is, like, I was having fun and I wasn't stressed out at all, like during it. I think like when you're, and that's a pattern with our best performing videos, is like, we're always having fun when we film it. Yes, it's like a good video, it's like optimized, but we're also just like in the moment, and I'm not like too much in my head,
and that, let's talk about that right there, because that is where I think that you pivoted, because you went away trying to please Mr. Beast and Mr. Beast's audience, and trying to gain their loyalty. And you're like, I'm going to just make some really great content, and I'm going to just have fun with it. And you had a small window to do it because you're behind and late and whatever. And so you pulled it off, but you had fun with it. It was engaging, and it brought that energy in. And then you realized, oh my gosh, this is a new bucket for us. Like, this is a thing that we can wash, rinse, and repeat. And go from there, because it was something that you cared about. And then you could, I don't want to use the word exploit, but I guess I will. You can exploit that bucket so you can get more and more views from it, right?
100%. I think something that, like, I just want to mention while you're talking there too is like, I'm just going to make great content, right? You could go that route and then make it for a completely different audience. But thankfully, just my personality, I feel like, resonates with, a good chunk of MrBeast's audience. If you compare like MrBeast and Laserbeam viewers, right? People who watch Laserbeam watch MrBeast. People who watch Dream watch, a lot of them do watch MrBeast and stuff like that. And like, even if you look at, like, say you're a little older and you watch the Food Network, people who watch like Chopped are going to also watch Gordon Ramsay, and they're completely different people. But it's just content that's made for a similar like demographic and psychographic of audience. So I think the kind of the key there was, like, not only making content that like I was passionate about, but just being myself. And then it's just that the actual like concept resonated, and the way we executed upon it resonated with his audience even still. And I didn't have to change anything about my personality. So
yeah. Now I want to go on to other video ideas that you did, other buckets. One of the things that, when I got to know you, that you are in martial arts, you did Taekwondo, or was it Tang Sudo? I can't remember. It was Taekwondo for years and years and years and years. And you're like very agile, and you're like this ninja person jumping off the walls. And I remember you had an idea to do one, and you're like, hey, what if I recreate stunts, and I'm like, dude, all in, because you and you know, at that time you had some people, some friends of yours there with your karate studio or previous whatever, and you made this video. We tried marble stunts in real life. You want to talk about that, because I think this is the level that I thought that, oh, you finally got it. Like for me, I finally said yes. You know, Matthew got it. I'm excited for Zealous. You know, I think that you understand now. And then I know that there was, you know, some thoughts of not wanting to turn in this type of channel, but could you talk about this? Because I think this is something that I think creators really need to hear.
Yeah. So you're talking about like from an overall, like how this affected, you know, the direction.
Yeah.
Yes. So the way we found this idea was actually there was a video suggested to me by a channel called Nick Pro. I was doing something that we call recon and research that Daryl's a big fan of. I learned it from him, where pretty much we watch videos in our niche, you know, on a different account that helps, you know, suggest other videos to that account. And I was doing that process, just watching videos that I'd be interested in. And I found a video that was this guy replicating stunts, but he did it in a compilation format. So he didn't really talk to the camera. It was just, you know, Captain America does a backflip, he does a backflip. Black Widow does a, you know, front flip and lands on her knee. Then he does a front flip and lands on his knee. So we're like, okay, this is a really cool concept. I love flips. I love martial arts. So do my friends. How do we like apply this to ourselves? So that's when we took this idea, we took the concept and turned it into something that like would resonate with what we enjoyed. And that became a competitive version of, you know, stunts in real life, where we could do the stunts while competing against each other and building rapport with our audience through our personalities. What that did after this video was uploaded, first of all, this video was the highest retention rate we've ever received. And I definitely believe that's because we were just having the most fun that we've ever had, you know, making it.
Well, and then too, it was a beautifully choreographed, edited video where right at that moment, that's when you do that next stunt, and they're like, okay, if they're doing this, what are they going to do next? And so you're just totally leading them along. And so, you know, that's where that came up with and went there. But I want to really circle back here. I mean, really getting, you know, overnight 1.8 million people to subscribe, and they went and viewed. They just didn't have that loyalty factor. And what have you done? Like, what have you learned to create loyalty for the content you want to create? So you had two really good buckets that you said, oh, I can start adding to these, and you know, it's that similar content to go from there. What did you learn there about that loyalty, and what do you do today to really connect with your audience?
I think the biggest thing was just like realizing that when you're making a video, you're like another person is watching it on the other side of the screen. They have like interests, they have things that they do on a daily basis. You know, they have like posters of Iron Man, you know, up on their wall, and Spider-Man up on their wall and stuff like that. I think realizing that these are real people that I'm making for was super key. In contrast with the buried treasure video, I was trying to make content for an algorithm and a retention graph. The biggest realization to start was that, you know, this is for people, and the retention graph is just showing me how they're reacting. So people first, you know, analyze and adjust afterwards, and just keep repeating that process. But now, like with that in mind, I'm trying to be a lot more intentional about looking at the camera, acting as if the camera is a friend who's along with the process. And like, how would you include a friend if, like, you know, someone's just observing a conversation from outside a circle? You want to bring them into the circle. So that's kind of how I see it. It's like, how do we bring this person into the circle of conversation or activity that we're, you know, participating in, and make them feel completely a part of it. So one thing that we even did in our last video is we're starting to call out like audience members by name, and we're getting comments about it where it's like, you know, my friend Quinn talks to the camera. He's like, Zach, your hair on point today, brother. And then like Zach's like, I got freaked out when like Quinn said my name, and it's like, well, thank you, you know. So like just trying to find those ways to obviously that's a really specific and narrowed down way, but we're really experimenting with just how we can make our audience feel more special at the end of the day through this.
I really love what you're doing, and those small little details of connection to the viewer, it actually makes the viewer's life, you know, when that happens, but it also implants into the community that it's about the community, and you're real, and you know, you know, you have that connection. And it was funny. Like I got a note from my son, says, "Oh, you're in the latest, you know, laser beam video." I'm like, "I'm not in the laser beam video," but what happened was on Twitter, he was talking about a kid that he met, and his whole life revolved around laser beam. And he met him, and the kid was so excited to meet him and so nervous that he threw up everywhere, just like
No
barfed
way.
everywhere, you know. And so it was like this horrible experience. And he goes, he was just so worked up that he just lost it. And Lasers
my
just,
gosh.
you know, gives him a hug, tells him he's amazing, just puke everywhere, you know. But
No.
but anyways, I just commented on Twitter. He was just talking about that that moment. But it was like the thing about it though is like we are. I think sometimes we look at audience development as I'm putting out video, they'll find value, they'll share it, but we don't want to connect to the community. And I think that does the huge disservice for people. In fact, in my book, and you guys can find this in the link below. And then I also have like a 30-day creator challenge that will help you understand some of these concepts. But it's like when you get to the point where you have an army of people that you're connecting with, and whether it's in-person visits and, you know, creating these opportunities to rub shoulders with them, whatever it is, it takes them from you know, a casual viewer to an active viewer, from an active viewer to a fan. And fan is short for fanatic, like people that are just like obsessed with that. And I always try to look at how do I level up the relationships so that I can turn viewers into active viewers and active viewers into fans, because then you can do amazing things. Like I do that with the current project I'm working on right now. We're in season 3 of a television show that was self-funded by a crowd of people that were fans of what we were doing. And it was just a brand new project. And we broke the all-time crowdfunding record in film and television. I do a whole chapter on how to create a fan group, a rabid fan group in the book. And I use this case study as an example because it's a business that I own, and, you know, we're able to go from there. And then ultimately it continues to hit. Like I was just down in Brazil for 3 weeks. Because we've launched in Brazil, and from Easter to now we have 5 million app downloads in Brazil, and it's now the #2 most viewed country in the world. And now we have more countries outside the world, or outside the U.S., that is getting more views and engagement with our brand. And so I really do want all of you to realize that it's all about passion and connection, and you doing that one little thing about shouting someone out and talking, you know, to them, you know, that personally, it cements a person to become a lifetime fan. And then also other people that says, dude, that was so cool. That was amazing. You know, what you do. And I think this advice was really, really good. So MrBeast got some advice from Casey Neistat, and I love Casey to death. Like, he and I are great friends, and, you know, like I always get random calls from him. Like, never know what I'm going to get with Casey, right? But it's just like, it was like this. He goes, Jimmy went up and met with Casey and wanted to kind of get a digest from him. And he says, hey, whenever a fan comes up to you, take the time to do a selfie. Just make it happen. Even if it's the most inconvenient thing ever, take time to personally connect. And I've seen Jimmy, you know, do that over and over and over again. And I know inside he wants to run. Not because he doesn't love his fan. He just doesn't like to be the center of attention. I know that seems really weird, but he hates it. He hates to be that center. He'd rather just go talk YouTube in the corner, you know, and be happy there. But he doesn't need to be that center of attention. But I love that level of advice of really cultivating, you know, that audience.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know, what's really interesting is that I feel like some people, like on the onset, might feel uncomfortable, like being someone who like, you know, they're fanatic about your brand or something like that. But I just want to say, I feel like it's important to say that, like, because I felt that way as well. If you come from a humble background and you want to remain humble, I think that's an amazing thing. And sometimes it can bleed into like, well, I don't want to be this person who people are fanatic over. But the thing is that if you truly, believe in your content and believe that it's helpful to people, and it gives them either an opportunity to be educated or to, be entertained, then them being like fanatic about your brand is like actually, a very good, additive of value to them. So I just want to put that encouragement out there to put all you got into that, man. Like who else is going to do it if not you?
Yeah, one of the things that we do is like anyone that writes us a letter or anyone that buys a product, that we include a note and a sticker, because they took time out of their day to do it. At least we could do is respond, right? And so doing that, those small little touches, yes, it takes a team. It takes a team to pull some of these things off. But if you're doing it right and you're treating this like a business, then that's one of the components that will do it. So like just replying back, oh great, thank you for sending this letter, here's some stickers or whatever, and you're signing a lot of stuff, but that's something really cool that you can do to really get a deeper connection. So I want to be able to dig deeper into your journey and the things that you learned, and really even open it up for questions that people have in the comments. But before I do, I want to share with you, because I think this is a perfect segue for this, and I was going to do it a little bit later, but it's perfect now. Culture is everything when it comes to your YouTube channel. Like creating your own culture, creating your own brand, knowing what your brand is and what it's not is really important. When I started VidSummit 9 years ago, I had this envision idea that I wanted to give a platform for people to teach and a platform that they normally don't have. But I wanted it to feel like there was no one above someone else. Like we don't have like this private VIP room or whatever it is. It's just like VidSummit is VidSummit, right? But my goal was that like this is what I said. My goal was I wanted the keynote to go present and go out to the hall and answer questions, because that's what a good keynote would do, right? And then I want them to go back in to answer questions. And I got this picture here, and it was like Preston Plays, like one of the biggest YouTubers of all time.
Heck yeah.
And
what a handsome man.
He is a handsome man. But what I love about this one was he was keynoting 3 hours earlier. He came back in, and he was the first question on the stage, and even getting MrBeast going up and doing a presentation, and then really having the like he's sitting in the room. He'll sit in the back because like he likes to not be surrounded by a lot of people, but at VidSummit you're just always there. But it's like really learning from people on stage, and I love that. But I love about the conversations in the hall. The reason why I did this one is Fine Brothers I tried to get for like several years to come, and why I use this pick here is because there was a moment, I said, hey, you just come. He's like, I need a security guard. I'm like, you don't need a security guard here. We're all colleagues for fun. He's like, I need a security guard. I go, Jimmy doesn't even have a security guard. Are you bigger than him? He says, oh, I guess I'm not. And so he finally got there and was able to go to a couple sessions. And I was on the other side of him there when they took that picture. But he came up to me after. He's like, dude, where's this been all my life? I said, I've been trying to get you here for 5 years. He goes, no, I love it because these are the kinds of conversations that we have in the hall that we can't have anywhere else. The things that you're teaching here, you don't have anything else. And I says, that's what I've been trying to tell you, and it's great to see the new creators come in and really connect on a level where they're not fanboying out, but we're all just on the same level, just like helping each other out, right? Like we might be a little bit further down the road in certain areas of our life and on our channel and others. So for those that are interested to really come be a part of VidSummit, we're about 90 days out. We would encourage you to really be a part of it. You can get more information at vidsummit.com. There should be a link in the description below. But Zealous, my question is, will you present at VidSummit?
Heck yes. Do you know that's literally on my vision board right now?
Well, there you go. We just finished your vision board.
Okay, here's the thing, man. please come to VidSummit. It's worth every single penny. I've been in 2019 and 2021. I will be there in 2022. I will present if you'd like me to. I'd absolutely love to do so.
I literally wanted to do that. I wanted to segue in because I think that a lot of people that can learn even deeper if you put a presentation together for this. So
100% would absolutely love to. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the other way. I want everyone. Literally, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in there. We're going to prioritize those that do super chats or whatever. What I'm also going to do for the super chats, like the people that do the super chats, is I'm going to let Zealous create, we'll give them a list of people that have commented, but we're going to send the money to their channel so they can actually, do whatever. So at the end of this, Zealous, I'm going to give you a list, and then anything that's done in super chat on this live stream today, I'm going to just go ahead and give it to some other creator. How's that?
Heck yes, love that.
Because I don't need the money. Come on now.
100%. That is awesome. More people should do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So if you have a question, do it with super chat. That'll be priority. It'll go to some creator. Help creators helping creators. That's what I love. So, okay. So while they're coming in, while they're asking the questions, my first question for you is, what's next? Like, now that you know what you know, and now what you're creating, where do you put your priority in the day, and what are you going to do?
I am very excited to answer this question. So, next, over the past couple months, we've been building up a team. I saw a question in there that asked, if I do my own editing. I didn't see the rest of it, but I wish I did. I'm sorry if I missed that. But we hired an editor. We hired a guy to help with making the creative side of the videos happen, like just a production guy. And then we hired a creative guy. And our most recent hire has been a head of operations guy. So next, for sure, just on an overall basis, is getting like our workflows down to a very standardized, systemized process, and a process that is optimized for improvement and growth. But for that to happen, we need standardization of content as well. Not in a sense of these are the standards and this is the way it's going to stay the whole time, but in a way of just niching down a little further. So we have a couple videos that are currently in our pipeline that are outside of the direction that we're going to be going. But once those are uploaded, our main focus for the next probably 6 months to a year is going to be to really double down on our stunt content, to keep our stunts in real life stuff, but to build more buckets around it. So we have these ideas like Stuntman Versus, which is it's like Stuntman versus SWAT team, or Stuntman versus 100 T-Rex. For Jurassic World, we want to get 100 people dressed up in T-Rex costumes and have a parkour type chase. Where we have some sort of start to end course setup, and if they catch me, then they win something. That's kind of the direction that we're going, and I am so beyond stoked about this because Daryl's been telling me to do this for so unbelievably long.
I wasn't going to say anything, but if you want to say it, then go ahead.
I've been too stubborn to do it, but thankfully I went ahead and I hired this operations guy, and I spend 60 hours, 70 hours a week with him. And he was able to get through my thick skull and be like, yo, we need standardization. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So that's where we're going from now on, just trying to up revenue as well through that, so we can make better videos for our audience, and in the future, even provide products to our audience. We're thinking anything that we can do to inspire our audience to move and to overcome obstacles, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in their life. That's what we want to do.
Perfect. So I'm excited to see that, and I'm glad that you're finally taking my advice, there, boy. No, you've been good.
This is perfect timing because I wanted to tell you anyway. So
there we go. Okay, so first super chat that came in. How do you get massive growth and distribution fast? Dream, JCS versus Eric, Matthew Beam, so on and so forth. What would you attribute that to?
Like crazy massive growth, along with a consistent posting schedule, weekly uploads type of thing. I know Matthew Beam. He's one of my best friends, and he works his butt off to get weekly uploads out. He also has a team of about for the longest time he's had a team of about 9 people who help him with his builds. So I'd say like and same with Eric. I believe Eric is over 10 people. Phidias is at like 5 people, and he has a bigger team than me. And I don't know if he's past 1 million yet or not, but all these people, number one, are super passionate about what they do. Literally, Phidias lives in a studio apartment and like dumps all his money back into his team and making great videos. Same with, Eric did the same thing. And then I'd say the biggest thing, if you were to dive a little bit more into the nitty gritty of like having passion and building a team around your passion, make sure that you're utilizing your team correctly. I didn't figure this out until I started hiring people, but you can put hard workers in like areas that they're not going to be super proficient in. So for instance, I put one of my friends who's like an amazing like creative person, who would be an amazing creative person on the editing side, because that's where our major workload was. In reality, I should have just hired a dude who likes editing, and we've done that now. And the guy is like a goat, dude. He's literally like incredible, life-changing. So hire people, but hire the right people and put them in the right places. That's how you get faster.
So I'm going to answer this one a little bit different way, because I thought he did a great job on that one. But I got a message from Matthew Beam a couple of years ago, and he's like, hey, I'd love to connect or whatever. And he actually got an hour consult, and we spent some time together, and then I've been connected with him kind of along the way because I really liked his personality. But he literally is obsessed with learning. He's obsessed with data. He's obsessed of always improving and leveling up his content. And the thing that I can tell you about everyone on this list, everyone, including Zealous here, is they want to make the best product they possibly can and always improve from that product. And the product is the videos. And so it's just really understanding this. And they all get visibility differently. But Matthew Beam did an approach that he put a lot of energy and money. He put every dollar that he had into a video, and it paid off. It paid off because it created a relationship and a connection, and also a story that led to his content strategy now. But I can tell you that I was having a conversation with Jimmy about a year ago, and he goes, is there anyone out there that you think that has the work ethic and is crazy like me? And I says, yeah. I go, there's a person that's awkward, and if he figures things out, he's going to be massive. And he's like, who's this? It's Matthew Beam. He's like, oh, he laughs. He goes, yeah, he's literally into that data, and all he cares about, he goes, he would rather look at data than go on a date. He'd rather look at data and work on a video than go to, whatever it is appealing to everybody else. Like, he just wants to make the best videos of all time. And I think it's that obsession that leads to great content, and that obsession leads to improvement. And I think the only difference that would be is like really building a team around you that is really good and is obsessed with what they do. So like what you mentioned about getting an editor that's obsessed with editing, that's what you need to do. You should have done that a lot earlier.
100%. Could I put a bow on that real quick?
Yeah, please do.
Matthew told me this amazing quote that I'm still trying to apply to myself. He's also like most obsessed with uploading on a weekly basis for the longest time, and I think he did 2 years straight of just weekly uploads, never missed. So he told me, he said, I'm a perfectionist, but I only give myself 7 days to be a perfectionist, and then I move on. And I think that's really key. That's
probably one of the best quotes I've heard, and he said the same thing to me on that as well. And then I think too, I know I'll have him on a live stream here shortly, but
that's going to be a great conversation.
One thing that I really loved what he says, he goes, I don't need to compete with MrBeast because if I did, I wouldn't win. I just need to compete with myself. And there's a reason why he uploads on a different day than what would probably be best for the channel. Like he does Tuesdays. Like Tuesdays is like crazy, but he understands YouTube on a level that he gets the view. Okay, so Quincy's asking, hey, Daryl, would love to see Ryan Trahan's talk for VidSummit last year. A few uploads are not there. Thanks. Yes, we had some issues with our provider, and they suck a lot. And so some of the sessions didn't happen. We're not using that provider ever again. And so if you really want me to ask Ryan Trahan to come back, I think we should anyway. Put it in
Oh,
the comments right now because like I think he's disrupting that. So I do apologize on that, but that's what life is. So yeah. Okay. Big thanks to Daniel Patel for really pushing some live streams here or some super chats going on here. I also want to give big thanks real quick to Series 7 Guru for the $100 that's going to make some creator happy.
heck yes.
And also, let's go to the next question. So Harry Wilder. Hey, Harry's
I love this guy.
Harry's actually in Channel Jumpstart, man. He's like I love him. He's like what 14 or something like that. I love it. Anyone that is ambitious that says I'm and he paid a lot of money too. He like literally paid a lot of money to do it. It wasn't mom and dad that did it. He like pulled it together. So how did you come up with the new and original ideas? It feels like everything I've done in major niches. Also super hyped to hear you speak at VidSummit. So he's now going to see you at VidSummit. So
dude, I'm so stoked. I saw Harry last year at VidSummit. I've talked with him on Discord quite a bit, and he is one of the funniest kids, young guys I know.
I love it.
So I think like, first of all, what we kind of talked about with like recon and research, it's literally making a dummy account and you watch videos that like you are interested in your niche. You pretty much create like your ideal viewer persona by doing that. And then YouTube sees that and suggests you videos that person would watch that are performing at a high level. So if you have the YouTube formula book, read the recon and research section. It is super hot fire. It's flames. And it'll teach you everything about that. But I think something that I've been trying to, put myself into recently that's really helped with coming up with original ideas. First of all, like everything's already been done. Number one, it says that in Ecclesiastes. It says like there's nothing new under the sun. You're just taking things and you're combining them. You're improving upon them. You're adding your own thing to it. So like even what I did with like taking TikTok life hacks and then turning into TikTok survival hacks when I was first starting. But there is the opportunity to come up with ideas that are more original than others, So like the best way, in my opinion, to do that is to use constraints. Like if you constrain yourself to a niche or like, hey, we can only come up with an idea that's going to cost $100 or less to film, or we can only come up with an idea that includes dogs, or we can only come up with an idea that includes like firemen, then like you end up coming up with a lot more ideas because you have less decisions to make in the process. Yep. You're kind of getting rid of your decision fatigue. So if I had to come up with an idea that like, only included like Star Wars, then I'd say, let's go spend 50 hours in Darth Vader's suit. Let's spend 50 hours in like, a stormtrooper costume or something like that. Or go learn saber fighting. It's a lot easier to come up with ideas when you constrain it and focusing on one kind of area to start.
Yeah, I love it. And Harry, this is very, me, I like to just speak my mind and I don't hold anything back. Sometimes you have the tendency to kind of bounce all over the place. That's what we call throwing spaghetti against the wall. And
I do that too.
And Zealous had the same issue. He's now learned that it doesn't work. And so what advice do you give Harry for that? Because realistically, he's trying a little bit of this and his channel evolves about every 3 or 4 months or 2 months or whatever, because, he's into something else. And so what would you, we all love Harry. And so what would you tell him on that?
The biggest thing is discipline. It literally takes discipline to stick to a route. Like when you're creative, when you're a creative guy, I know you're a super creative guy. You have like all these amazing ideas and you're super funny and you're, I don't know, like a little bit all over the place, which I think is like super awesome about your personality. It's really hard to narrow down and be literally disciplined. That's all it comes down to about sticking to a certain direction. So like, I'd say the biggest thing that you should do, choose a direction that you will doubt the direction in the process of like going for it. I even sometimes doubt like the sense of your life direction, but you got to like burn the ships for like 6 months to 12 months. And just, if something's not working, then you pivot, and if you don't feel passionate about it, then go ahead and maybe pivot to the next one. But like, you have to do it longer than like 90 days to actually.
And you got to be consistent of putting out content. Just because the idea is there and you put out one video and you wait 8 months, you have to do it consistently though. Okay. Right. So next one is from Reno. Nino, how do I get better at my editing videos for story? I make car content. Huge inspirations are Fab Rats and Matt's Off-Road Recovery.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are masters. Thanks. So just a specific note, Matt is actually my partner in a company, Matt's Off-Road Recovery. And so like we're you know, owners of that one. I have to put that up there. And Fabrats is a channel that's our jump starters too. They went through the channel jumpstart
No way.
program. But why don't you kind of grab that? How do you actually tell better stories with the edit?
Ooh, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this too. But I was talking to Hiller Smith, Logan Paul's editor, or former editor, and he pretty much like makes the entire story. He likes to take a piece of video and make the story in the edit. So it's definitely possible. I think it's also good to like have a little bit of an idea of the beats, like not scripted, but like an idea of the beats you want to hit before you film. Like, what are the pain points? What's the backstory of like this car that we're restoring? Is it like my dad's old Mustang or his GTO that he flipped when he was like 16? I tracked it down and like now I'm restoring it or something like that. I think that's a good way to add story just on the onset. But if you're after that fact and you're adding it in the edit, a really great, it's all about like the feel. I feel like what should this scene feel like, and what is that scene attributing to the story? So a scene shouldn't be in the video that doesn't actually like, there's something called the story economy. If you bring something up and it doesn't like have something to do like later in the video, like there's another term, a Chekhov's gun, like yeah, snippet. Like a Chekhov's gun always has to go off. So a Chekhov's gun is something that appears beforehand and then appears later in the video. Like you shouldn't have something that appears beforehand and just goes off into the ether afterwards. So edit using music that fits your feel. Like really get passionate about like how you want certain scenes to feel and how it's leading to the potential climax.
Yeah. I think the thing for me is that the more preparation that you can do in your pre-production of what you feel like the videos is going to be, and you're capturing moments that that will be strategically placed to really engage, and you're making sure the editor actually has things that can be used in a great way, and then you actually have a content strategy of how your videos are put together. There's timing things that you've learned from your previous data and from successful channels. I think that you're giving the editor what they need, because the story shouldn't come from the editor. I 100% disagree that a story should come from the editor. The story comes from the creator. Now, sometimes the creator's the editor, but every creator that I work with that are brilliant, they're editing in their head and they're like, oh, we need to get this shot, go do this. And they're getting it in their head so that the editor actually has the pieces that they need to put it together. And so for me, 100% it's the edit comes down to. So I'll use Matt's Off-Road Recovery since you watch that channel. But there was a time 2 years ago that Matt was just doing recovery videos, and his edit was very done on an iPad. It wasn't really done, and he in his mind had it a specific length. When I came on, bought into the company, and became his partner, I basically told him, I says, look, there's a big issue that you're facing, which is your edits are okay. We're going to take that over, and we're going to train, people that can do it, but we're going to do it. I remember releasing the first edit to him and showing him on frame that edit. It was 4 minutes longer than what he did before. And he goes, man, he goes, I don't know if that warrants that 4 extra minutes. And there's a lot of stuff in there that I just don't think that, like people they're not finding value. And I says, Matt, I go, there's 2 things that you're going to find out working with me. Number one, we test everything and we get the data, and we, have assumptions of what we need to do. And I says, I can tell you, I believe that people do not watch you to go and get the tips and techniques on recovery, but they go and they see a group of friends that have a great time together, and they go help people in need. And when they go down the road, they have to stop at the gas station and grab some nachos. And they got to grab their favorite drink, and then go out and help someone save the day, and then come back and maybe grab some more nachos because it was a whatever day. That's the element. And he goes, okay, well, we'll see what happens. 87% retention rate on a 22-minute freaking video.
Oh my gosh, Daryl. Goodness gracious.
And the channel went like this. And it was because it was a good story. It was a good edit. And when you take a good storyteller, which Matt is, with a good editor, of really understanding pacing, and every channel's different. I don't want you to think you have to edit like MrBeast to be a good editor. It's just like every audience views content differently. And we just added the elements that pulled you deeper and deeper and deeper into the story.
So
And
maybe,
so
go ahead.
yeah, so if you're a fan, I can tell you how to be a better storyteller is you got to have characters in your story. You look at Matt's Off-Road. What is his vehicle name? Banana. Okay, it's the banana. Okay, we made content. We made our own character. It's a Morvair, which is like he literally made this awesome vehicle to do recoveries. Right? We spent like 6 months doing it and put $140,000 into making this ultimate recovery rig. Right? But people know it. It's the Morvair. It's a part. It has its own character. It has its own history. We're doing right now the world's largest recovery rig. This huge thing that we're building right now. That is, once again, it's going to get a name. It's going to get its own thing, and the crowd's going to help us decide where it's at. So that's part of storytelling too that I think a lot of people don't necessarily do. So.
Would you say, Daryl, that the story is made beforehand, but it's either amplified or deflated in the edit?
Yeah, I would say 100% that you have a good plan. And with Matt's channel, we don't know what we're going to get until we do it. But we actually understand the elements of good storytelling, but that we follow the same format every single time. And then it's enhanced with what we're able to capture out there. And then also what the editor, there's been an editor that was just, oh, this is really cool. And they pull some other stuff and make it super amazing and super engaging.
Yep.
Okay, Toby says, at what point of your growth did you realize that you needed to hire out an editor in production?
Daryl really helped me with this thing. It's called Workweek Analytics. What you do is, I think like there's also an intuitive part to it. Like you literally just feel like, oh, I could be getting a better ROI for my time. Like, because editing normally is the first thing that people hire out. I'll talk about the Workweek Analytics here in a second. But, it's taking up like my entire week of work. And if I can offload 40 to 70 hours to someone else, then obviously say that's like work that I'd pay them like $22 to $36 an hour to like between that range to do, then like, and I value my time at like $250 an hour, then I should definitely, hire that out. So that's a way that you can kind of like look at it. I feel like there's also a point of overwhelm that you could reach where it's like, I'm not meeting my quota that I want to meet. I'm not uploading on a weekly basis. My bandwidth is kind of getting used up. So I'm going to hire out what's taking up the most time, what I have the least amount of passion for. The way you can figure that out, if you're not quite sure, is the Workweek Analytics. You pretty much just want to have a little baby notebook. I normally have one right next to me. But you write down everything that you do in a given day for the whole week. And it takes discipline to do. You just, every 15 minutes, you just got to say, all right, what did I do? And then write it down. And then after the end of the week, you just take a highlighter, 3 different colors. You highlight what you like didn't enjoy doing, what was a complete waste of time and you should just eliminate. So what you didn't enjoy is you should delegate. What was a complete waste of time you should eliminate. And then you either just leave blank or you highlight what you enjoyed doing or was a good ROI.
Yeah. And Leron says he hates Workweek Analytics, but it's useful to see what's actually going on in your business. Yes, that's right, Leron.
And okay, if you have like someone with you who's like on your team already, they could just follow you and do it for you.
Okay.
Like,
we got a rapid fire because I know you have a hard stop and we need to make sure that we do that. So
yes,
right
sorry,
next, Local Joe, if my CTR and AVD and AVP are all performing average and above for a video, but views are below average, why might that be?
I feel like this is a traffic source question. So Daryl's gonna have a really good answer on this. First impression to me was just to look at the impressions. Like your CTR might be high, but your impressions might be low. And then dig in to see why that might be. It could be like resonating with your core audience, but it might not be like broad appeal enough to go outside to like suggested or browse. What do you think, Daryl?
Yeah, no, I smiled because you said traffic source because you know how I feel about traffic sources. So like, okay, I at least taught you one thing in Channel Jumpstart. No, I think that the big thing is I hear this comment a lot of people that don't actually get views on their videos. So they might get, a couple thousand views a day or something like that. And they're like, hey, why is it YouTube's not promoting this like the most amazing video of all time or whatever? And how YouTube operates. Might not be your case. The other case would be is the traffic source of where you're getting traffic. It wasn't responding really well. You're looking at the overall CTR, AVD, AVP for the video a whole, but you're not looking at it granularly from the traffic of where it's coming in. So like if you normally get major traffic coming from browse feature when you release a video, and you're not getting that, and it's a lower click-through rate than what you're seeing on it's deceiving. So you have to like dig down into it. That's one of the things I teach. But let's just say that, in both scenarios, it's like, for you to understand how YouTube works, YouTube goes and puts your content in front of people, and they do it in different ways. So like browse feature is homepage subscription. You have other YouTube features. There's some features that YouTube uses to push it in front of your active viewers. And then when you're watching a video and you see the videos below if on the phone, it's below the video, or on the side of the video if it's on the computer, you're getting those different traffic sources immediately. And so what I like to do and look at very quickly is where the traffic generally comes from the channel itself and from your other videos. And then two is that warranted in your new video, and if you're not seeing that, there's something that's off there, because the way that YouTube operates, as soon as you get a click, and YouTube's watching, oh, they got a click, what do they do next? So if you have good retention on that click, and they're getting to the end of the video, I can guarantee you YouTube's going to get it out to more people. The only other thing that would be a limited factor would be the general interest of a video. So if it's not a general interest video, it can't go out to a general audience. I don't care how amazing the click-through is, because YouTube only does it on predictive modeling, in the sense of predicting what people want to watch. And so if they have no interest in something, they're never going to put it in front of them. And so you kind of have to mix between your own content of what's the popularity and also the current content. And then two, does it cross over to get more of a general of an audience? I know that was a very, very vague answer, but it usually takes 2 full weeks of me training my students on this one subject to really wrap their mind around it. So
yeah.
Okay. I know we got a rapid fire. So Marcus is, how do you overcome analysis paralysis and actually start to create?
This is something I struggle with a lot, as Daryl knows. You want to just have a hard deadline for your uploads. I feel like is like the biggest key. That's going to keep you, in the groove of creating. The more you create, the more feedback you can get, and the better you can make your content. So, but it's kind of hard to get over the fear. So I'd say my advice would be, which I'm still working on, is just have deadlines for when a video needs to be uploaded.
And okay, so Apple bias, what's your best tips on increasing retention? My graph usually looks like a hockey stick of death.
Yeah.
Better B-roll, better hook. What's your idea for retention?
I've had a few of those. So I made a video that was another, like a lot of times our channel goes in cycles of like high performing videos and low performing videos. So it's really cool to learn from the low ones. I had a video that I thought was going to be like super fun and entertaining. We built like a guillotine for the hook. Because I spent 100 days in medieval VR. So I was wearing a VR headset and I was about to get my head chopped off, but it just did not connect. It was like also, I think, a little bit off-putting. So like action doesn't always mean audience connection. I think the biggest thing is like, how do you like intrigue a person? So you can have like all this action going on and all this crazy stuff going on, or you can have like a really slow intro that just is intriguing. A good example of that, if you want to look at like a bad intro that doesn't connect with an audience, but has a lot of like, is really fast paced, versus a good intro that does connect with an audience and intrigue them. Look at not to toot my own horn or anything, but just, what I think, look at our MrBeast underwater video, where we played MrBeast song underwater. And then look at our, I spent 100 days in medieval times video, and compare the two.
Love it. Love it. All right. Daniel, what is one thing you think most young creators get wrong when it comes to YouTube, preconceptions or misconceptions?
I'm going to guess young, as in like age wise. I think the biggest thing is like, you have to be someone else, like other than who you are. That was my problem, at least. I looked up to a bunch of different creators, like the Ireland Boys and a bunch of different vloggers like Tanner Brungart, Tanner Fox. And I felt like I needed to be like this kind of, off the wall, like slightly rebellious kid who like was really, really loud in order to like actually get views and entertain an audience, which like, I think you gotta, in the vlog age, maybe you had to have a little bit more of a colorful personality if you wanted to appeal to certain niches. But just biggest thing is just be who you are and capitalize upon that. I think Ryan Trahan's done an incredible job of that, as well as Emma Chamberlain.
100%. Okay, next one, Handsome Gadget. What are you drinking, Zealous? I love your boldness about your faith.
So this was coffee from the Keurig. I got just 12 ounces from the Keurig before this call, and then some nice vanilla cream. It's very good. Thank you. Yes, definitely. The biggest thing that has been super awesome is just trying to figure out how to navigate, bringing Jesus into my everyday life as like things are really busy. A verse that really like resonates with me is and I think it can with a bunch of, faith-based creators is the parable of the seeds thrown on good soil versus thorns, rock, etc. The seeds thrown on the good soil, like grew up and were very healthy, and the seeds thrown on the thorns got choked out eventually. I definitely feel at points me getting choked out by all the busyness. So being able to just like slow down really helps with that faith. I just felt like I was supposed to say that, but I really appreciate the encouragement as well.
Love it. Okay, next one, Snipe Life. Hey, Zealous, love studying your channel. What would you have done differently after the shout out if you could go back?
Listen to Daryl. I'm just kidding. But actually,
there's some truth to that now. Come on now.
There is. So listen to Daryl and have be more prepared with my content strategy and have more confidence in. Listen to the right voices. So that goes hand in hand. Like whether it's Daryl or anybody else, just listen to the people who know what they're doing. Trust them. I had a bunch of friends just telling me dumb stuff. Unfortunately, they're great people, but they just, when you have something like that happen, you have a bunch of voices that come and you just got to listen to the right ones.
Yep. Love it. All right. Duty Ron, what is your thought on shorts for growth? I'm primarily a live streamer. I notice more growth with shorts and uploads. I'm a retired NYPD detective in true crime genre. Thanks, gentlemen. First off, thank you for your service. I know that last couple of years have been really difficult for your occupation, and for me, like I don't think people realize how intense the job is, and so I just want to thank you first off, Duty Ron, for your service.
100%, completely agree with that. Very appreciate you asking this question. I'm trying to figure out the same thing with shorts as well. Shorts are amazing for growth, but you have to have the right content strategy actually like make that growth meaningful. So like a lot of times shorts don't convert, so you can get 300 million views on a short and people might subscribe, but they won't turn into like Daryl was saying, active viewers or fans. You need to have your shorts need to match what your long form content, the feel of that, so it's predictable. So when someone watches a short, they're going to click and watch the long form content because it appeals to them, and it's similar in format. So very good if you can, but you have to do it right. So great people to study on that is Dental Digest, Isaiah Photo, who's actually one of my competitors in the MrBeast challenge. He does an amazing job at it, and I think Eric also does an amazing job at it.
Yep. So let me answer this question. All my students know how I feel about shorts, of the way that YouTube operates. The moment that MrBeast puts it on his main channel, you know that the problems have been fixed. So there's a lot of problems when you introduce something into an aged platform, and what it does, what it doesn't. But I want to explain what shorts are first from my perspective. And I've said this for years. Shorts and TikToks will put them in the same things. They're just video memes. That's it. They're a video meme. That's the value proposition. If you think that you can do it through education or whatever, they never blow up like a video meme does. And so when you're doing a meme-driven content, you treat it more like Vine and back in that day, then you'll actually see massive growth, and you'll see creators like Zach King just naturally fit into it because that's what he's already done, and it's meme driven, and it's that juxtaposition, and it's stuff that works really, really, really well. And so if you do have that, I do think it's viable for it. Now, Where I disconnect would be YouTube does something that I hate. There's not a button that says, hey, put this on the short shelf and disregard everything else. So when you upload it, it'll actually go to browse feature and it'll go to suggested videos and it'll even show up in search. And then people are like, what the hell is this? Like I just clicked on it. It's not a full video and it's not that full experience. And so until they fix that problem, because what you're doing is getting YouTube to make a choice for you to have a video that's like a banger for 10 minutes and do something that's 15 seconds. And you just now made the choice to get it in front of the eyeballs. And so that's where my heartburn is. I don't disagree that it brings on subscribers, and I don't disagree that it can help certain things, but you got to treat it for what it is, and then you have to be willing to compromise the other stuff. I'm just not willing to compromise getting someone, because I can make a heck of a lot more money on a longer form video, and I can get more of a connection on a longer form video than I do a short. So I've always encouraged people, if they want to do it on another channel until they hit that, or I've even encouraged creators to do it because it fits a couple of the things that I believe works on YouTube. I think for news and information, if you want news, that's the fastest way to get news out. And it can be something what it is, and you just have to do it under a minute. But ultimately, I'm not the biggest fan of how YouTube does it, and they have to do it to get people to be aware with it. So the reason why they're doing it is it's an easy fix. They can fix it, but they don't want to because they need the traffic going in so they can compete with TikTok. Yep. So they have to have people going into the funnel, and that's the funnel thing. So, and I just told them that they're idiots for it. So.
By the way, I just bought like 5 to 10 more minutes just so you can finish up.
Okay, cool. I was just going to wrap it up. I know we got 3 questions. Let me make sure. We'll just hammer through these real quick. Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay, so sorry to make you delayed, but everybody's liking this, right?
I love this conversation. Like, and she's all we're good. I can call her in like 5-10 minutes.
Okay. How do I bring back to optimal working condition? Also, I love the YouTube formula, and let's go, Brandon, whatever on that one. But anyway, how do you get to a optimal working condition?
Optimal working condition, as in like supply, like based on like supply chain, like how consistent you're pushing out videos and how quality they are.
I think it's just more if you do have interruption, regardless of being laid off or you're not getting the money that's coming in or whatever. Like, how do you get to where you are comfortable moving forward? And I'll answer this one because I'm a big believer of this. To get to a place, you got to treat it like a business. This isn't just, hey, you're uploading videos. The first thing that I always say with my partners that I partner up on, we had a new channel that we partnered up on in the beginning of the year, and they're just exploding. They got like, they're getting about 7 to 10 million video views a month right now, and
that's
they're
awesome.
Almost 300,000 subscribers just in a short amount of time.
Wow.
And I explained to them, you're an entertainment company. You're an entertainment company, and we're going to build the infrastructure around the entertainment company. You're not a YouTuber. You can use that as a title, but you're not uploading YouTube videos. We're uploading entertainment. And once you get that in your head, then you change the value proposition specifically. So big shout out to Invisible People. They're in the book. They do some amazing things.
This channel so much.
Mark's so great. Yeah.
Seriously.
Hopefully we see you at VidSummit as well. Local Joe, I think we answered that question. My crush browse, but struggle and suggested. So what you got to do, Local Joe, on this is to group all the videos that don't perform well in suggestions. See if you can find a pattern. That's what I teach on that.
I'm curious of your thoughts on this. Would you say that browse is a lot of times more like repeating viewers, like returning viewers, and suggestions more new viewers? Would you from time to time?
Yeah. So So basically, what it is when someone goes and watches a video of yours, you have a high probability the next time they go to YouTube that you're going to show up on the YouTube homepage. If they watch 2 videos, it's pretty much cemented in. So if they watch 2 of your videos, they go back and they're going to see all your videos that YouTube thinks would be the best for them to watch. That's browse feature. And you'll see some videos that will just take off, and then in 90 days, 120 days, they take off again. YouTube says, oh, I found a new audience that would engage with this, and that's what they're doing. On suggestion, it's just basically trying to get new viewers to come in, but also active viewers. Like, it goes off of things that you watch that would be related to what you're watching, and also It uses visibility when it comes down to how soon they watched a video. So like if they watch one of your videos and they're watching one of Arax's videos, you're going to show up because they just watched one of your videos. You're going to show up more on suggestion, even though that it might not warrant it on maybe a rabbit hole video where they go deeper on a specific topic. But it's like, oh, based on their viewing relationship. So that's kind of where I see that happening. So I just like to group them together, try to understand the patterns from there. And Local Joe, you're asking questions that you should actually probably sign up for Channel Jumpstart because your mind's in the right place, brother.
Yes, 100%.
So anyway, okay, we've got a couple more, and then we'll end up here if that's good. So this one. When making vid for a brand new channel, Blue Ocean strategy, how do you know the video is good to keep the viewers if it's in a new niche? Because you cannot recon and research your competitive because of your new niche. Now, I'll answer that one because I probably do more recon and research than anyone on the planet. Stuff like that. I just spend most of my day really analyzing. So you can, you listen to what Zealous said a little bit earlier. You gotta go looking for similar type of content and see what YouTube's recommending. But YouTube actually has a feature now that you can see retention in videos. You can see engagement in videos. You just kind of roll over your mouse and you can see spikes and all that other stuff. So you can actually see the most engaging parts of a video. And what you need to do is just go look for patterns and you need to be able to see it. Then you have the highest probability to succeed with no data off of that, because that is a lot of data. And I'd read through all the comments and I'd engage, so much on that and see what people found valuable. If they do a timestamp, they found it valuable of something in there. They're making a point. And if you see, the replies and comments and so on, take all that information and then make a video. I would only say is get right to it. Like don't try to do an intro. Nobody cares who you are. You're a brand new YouTube channel. So whatever they clicked on from that title and thumbnail that is so appealing, make sure you deliver that on it in like 2 to 4 seconds. Just like get right to it. And then just start that video. And then don't be very protective of that first minute. And at that first minute mark, really pull them into the story. And if you can do that, like I've literally, gotten billions of views on channels just following that format. And if you want to know more about that, that's where So what's that?
Do you mind if I add to that? I feel like I'm actually reading the Blue Ocean Strategy book right now. I haven't finished it yet, but someone who, the person who I heard about it from was Jake Tran. So Jake Tran is a creator who makes like essay type content around like controversial topics to an extent, but he's a very, very smart guy. And I really respect what he's doing. One thing that you can do is like it usually like Cirque du Soleil, they did like a Blue Ocean Strategy type thing. They combined 2 different, markets. So Jake Tran did the same thing. So you have people like Sunny V2 who do like similar type essay content, but Jake just kind of took it and put his own spin on it and differentiated himself. I'm sure there's people who are doing things that involve aspects of what you're trying to accomplish as well. So just those are good places to start. If you feel like for some reason recon isn't bringing you anything yet, that's a good place to start as well.
Love it. So look, what I want to kind of finish up on, we had all the people kind of go through the questions and stuff, but I want to just end on this. And I want to ask you one last question, but I want to just state that it takes a lot of dedication to succeed. And if you think that people have dumb luck and they get a shout out that it's going to solve all the problems, it doesn't. It actually creates a bigger issue. And we talked about that here. So there's a work ethic that's involved. There's a mental component that's involved. There's a desire to learn that's involved. And those things are really important if you want to succeed on YouTube. So Zealous, like very curious, closing thoughts, because I know you need to go and I'll kind of wrap it up here. But what would you do if you were at that moment and just say that you're at 1,000 subscribers or 20,000 subscribers and you're just getting not enough to provide for yourself, but you're monetized? Where would you put your priority, knowing that shout out's never coming or whatever? What would you do to establish very important things to succeed, like where would you put your energy and focus?
I think on an overall basis, I would work hard and smart. I think there's a lot of people who are actually at that level who just work insanely hard, but they're always spinning their wheels because they're not formulating a good strategy and they're not narrowing down their content. So someone who I really, really think of is Dream. If you follow Dream and his growth that he experienced in, was it 2019 or 2020? I think it was 2020. He gained about 20 million subscribers plus. And if you listen to him talk, I've done a bunch of research on Dream. He read about like hundreds of books worth of information and digested so much information on how YouTube works, how its algorithm works, and he applied that knowledge. He looked up how Reddit works, and he figured out how to engage audiences, niche audiences. If you read the book YouTube Formula, Daryl did the exact same thing with the pooping unicorn. In really like there it is. Get your book, baby. No, seriously, it's so worth it. Just devour knowledge and work hard because you don't want to just be devouring knowledge, not doing anything. I would put a large, like even 50% of my time into learning and applying that knowledge. So.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when it comes to this is surround yourself by the right people that care for you and are willing to learn with you and are willing to be objective. That's what it's all about. And I know you'll increase your probability to succeed because you'll be learning from other people too and their data. I do believe though, it's being smart with your time and being very intentional that you know who's going to respond to what, like knowing your viewer beforehand and really trying to define the content and doing a lot of research. I think is outright critical before you really get aggressive with it. And you can learn so much with data. That's why I teach my students all these things. And so, like, please, like, spend the time and energy coming up with a good idea, coming up with a good thumbnail, coming up with a good a title, and then coming up with a good hook, and then thinking about how to entertain someone or how to inspire someone or how to pull people into the story, and plan those elements in the beginning, and then have the spontaneity when you're shooting it to say, oh, this would be cool if we do this, and get that too. Don't disregard the stuff that you plan for. Grab that too, and do this other stuff, and then you have a beautiful video to edit, and then just spend time, energy, and effort getting that edit right. Like don't just slap it up and get it out there. Like how do you enhance it? And so that's what I encourage you to do. And thank you so much, Matthew, for jumping on and your willingness.
My pleasure.
And I can't wait to learn from you at VidSummit. And for those, here's your last shoot. Like, let them know why they need to come to VidSummit. Like, seriously, what's the not just to hear you speak, but
Daryl is not holding anything back when he talks about VidSummit. In 2019, the exact scenario happened to me. Jimmy, MrBeast, was sitting in the back of the audience, and I was like, "No way, that's MrBeast." And I just walked up to him and said hi. So it's an opportunity to brush shoulders with the best of the best people who want to learn. And when you go there, unlike some other conferences that you go to, you all are seen as equal and as people who are wanting to grow together. It's a very rising tide raises all ships type of environment. So I would say, if at all possible, do not miss it. Definitely invest into it. It will change your life for the better.
Yeah, love it. Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming on, and good luck with everything. We'll catch up, and I'll get some information from you so we can actually put you on the schedule for VidSummit, man.
I'm so stoked for that. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. Okay, now he's just jumping off. I'm going to take a little bit more time, really going in depth on some of the things that I'm passionate about. I did miss a super chat that I want to be able to grab, and it is here. So I'll make sure we get that. My best bucket is lessons that mention over other English-speaking channels from Russia. I feel funny roasting other creators, though. Any advice? Okay, so great question. I think what you need to do is really look at what would be interesting. I don't like to make fun of other YouTubers that are trying and going from there. I don't know if that's like a good thing to do. I know that they're, roasting other creators is its own genre and so on and so forth. But let me give you an idea of what I would do. You can use this in pop culture of things that are really, really, really bad translations, right? So like if your content is about a specific topic, it's like really, really bad translations gone wrong, and you're reacting to those. Like you can get memes, you can get things that are in television shows or movies. You know, it could be really, really funny that way, and then that way you're talking about more as what they're wanting to learn, or things that people make big mistakes of using a certain term or word. That's really good. And I think that would be very, very uplifting versus ripping someone apart and roasting another creator. So I'm not a big fan of roasting creators, but anyway, going back to us, a couple things is I've been really, really involved in a TV show that I'm producing. We're right in the middle of producing season 3, so it's been taking a lot of my time. I am opening up another group for me to mentor. So if you want to have me mentor you, you can find in the link below. There is a, let me just show you real quick. There is a group called Channel Jumpstart. Channel Jumpstart is the group there. You can be a part of that. It's a new session that's coming in. I would encourage you guys, if you're really serious about it, it's really well done in a way that teaches the system of what I do. You know, it does cost quite a bit of money. I'm not gonna lie. And we don't accept every application, but if you wanna apply, that's where you apply. If you want something free, I do a free 30-day creator challenge. That's for free, and you can get my book for just a few dollars. I think it's like 20 bucks or something like that, and you can get that at ytformula.com. But I want to just take a little bit more time on you know, why I mentor, why I spend time on these live streams. I don't need to do this. Like, I don't need to pass my knowledge on to groups. I don't need to do VidSummit. I make a lot of money with my own businesses out there, and I don't need it. And let me tell you why I do it. I made a commitment early on when I first started uploading to YouTube and I didn't need to do it then either. I had a very, very good consulting business and several businesses, but I really wanted to inspire the new creator. I wanted to help them through challenges that they'd face, whether it was growth or monetization. What I love is learning how to help people. And I feel like I've actually done it in a way that is best for my time, and I can get really involved in that. And it's fun. It's like so amazing that I can help people through the process, and I can mentor them along the way. And I've set up the support staff to mentor them even deeper than what we've done even a prior year ago. But I want to do that because that's the way I can give back, and a part of me is giving back, and I want to inspire the upcoming generation. And so I want to share with you kind of a transformational journey of one of the creators that I've mentored. I had someone reach out and do a 1-hour consult, and they spent like $800 doing a consult. And I went through and gave them an idea of things that they need to look at and how do they improve. They went and did it, and they literally doubled their views from that consult. And it wasn't necessarily anything that I did. I just gave them a direction of what to look at, and we really analyzed, hey, you got to do that. And it was like something that they were out of their own vacuum chamber, and then they're like, oh, wow, you know, and they opened up to that idea. I'm really good at strategy and ideation and how everything comes together. So I shared that, transformed it. So they go, how do we go deeper with you? And they went and did an audit. I didn't necessarily have Channel Jumpstart at the time, but we did an audit, and their goal was getting to become the #1 channel in their niche. And ultimately, when Channel Jumpstart came in, they went through the program and got deeper. And they're in a group that they personally meet with. In fact, I'm actually late to the appointment, 17 minutes because of you guys, but I'll get to them in a second. But where I'm doing one-on-one with them. But the cool thing was we got to a level where the #1 YouTuber in their niche. They're getting the most views they've ever had in their life. And for me, YouTube can come and go. But if you create a brand, if you create a business around what you're doing, that's really, really important for us. So we actually partnered up on a product. And for us, I wanted to leverage his crowd and then also do it in a way that was interesting. And so we actually went and brought the product together. We did a coordinated launch on that product, and we put the product on Kickstarter. We got fully funded in, it was like 15 minutes, fully funded on Kickstarter. And then, we're at like $116,000 for a product that's still coming out. We got to the #1 spot on Kickstarter's trending page because of YouTube, because of all the things that I'm teaching you. And what I want you to know more than anything else, it's everything about creating a business around your brand and realizing you're in the entertainment world. Regardless if it's the education world, you can be in the education world or the entertainment world, but you really need to look at expanding outside of YouTube. And all the success that I've been able to have, and all the businesses that I own, it's beautiful to watch what YouTube can do for you. So like for me, I feel obligated because I've taken so much from and it's blessed my lives that I need to give back to that. And so I'm helping people right now succeed on YouTube. And that's what these live streams are. These are the people, these are my students that I mentor. And I've helped them through the process of the hard times and gave them clarity of where they need. And what I love is we use this new tool to connect with my group. And I want to show you just really quick because I love this tool. It's really, really engaging. Let me just pull this up real quick because it's one of those things that it has a story, and I love the story. But anyway, it's a tool kind of like Slack or Discord, and it's called Volley. Hopefully you can see this. And this is my mastery students, and we have goals crushed, and everyone's able to communicate through here. We can do video messages or what have you. And we can have conversations, and I love these types of conversations here, right? And so what I love about this is the person that actually developed this, he was a jump starter. He actually went through Channel Jumpstart, and he went to VidSummit, and he got connected. And when he went to VidSummit, he actually got people to invest into his company. He went through Channel Jumpstart and understood the dynamics of it. And I just love this stuff here. It's really, really cool app. And that all came from, this community. And I love it. I love this community so much. And so for me, I want to give back. That's why I wrote the book. I'm actually writing part 2 of the book now. But it has nothing to do with the YouTube formula, but it's the formula to make money on YouTube. Right now I'm doing case studies. And who are the case studies I'm doing? My students. I had one student, I gave her a tip, and she made $89,000 by that one tip. Didn't do anything special by that one tip. And my whole thing is, I'm here, I'm trying to get case studies for my book that I'm going to be writing, and I'm using my students. And so it's all about the economics, and it's all about the business side. Now, I don't want to take away your artistic side of that creation. I want you to amplify that. And that's why I wrote the book. That's why I do the 30-day creator challenge. That's why I do Channel Jumpstart. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can find it in the link below. But I can honestly say, my best stuff's about to come out. Like I won't say holding back by no means, but the stuff that I truly do believe it will really radically change people's lives is about to come out. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm really excited about that because we need to have the foundational steps. We need to have the foundation of what the YouTube formula is so that you know how to leverage all the interesting stuff. And to think about my passion project that I was able to get it totally funded and build a business. So we have like 42 employees now, man, in that company. And it's just massively growing, and it's impacting the world, and I love it. And it all came because of YouTube, all because of YouTube and VidSummit. And so listen, focus in on your passion to be the best creator, putting out the best content, but also really looking at all the different ways that you can leverage your fame and your presence, your influence in a very positive way. So that's what I'm all about. If you're interested in that, there is a link in the description below for you to connect a little bit deeper. I believe we only have 5 available seats left into Channel Jumpstart, so you need to apply. And then, unfortunately, we don't take everyone. They have to meet some of the things that we look for because, it's a really, really special program. And I only want to work with people I want to work with. There you go. All right. Thank you so much for being on this live stream. Thank you so much for coming on for today. I hope you go back and rewatch what we did with Zealous here. This is so amazing. Okay, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.